Can I actually figure out what happens when federal courts review immigration petitions? So, you're trying to navigate the complex world of immigration law, and you've just had your petition denied. You're not sure what to do next or where to turn. One crucial step you might need to take is seeking review from a federal court. But what does that even mean, and how does it work? The thing is, when you get a denial on your immigration petition, it's not always the end of the road. You can appeal to a federal court, but this is where things get really tricky. Federal courts don't just automatically overturn the denial, they have a very limited scope of review. They're not looking at your case from scratch, instead, they're focusing on whether the immigration authorities made a mistake in their decision. This limited scope of review is a core challenge in navigating the federal court system. You're not getting a fresh look at your case, you're getting a very narrow examination of specific issues. The court is looking for errors of law, like whether the right procedures were followed, or if the decision was based on incorrect information. But they won't typically re-examine the facts of your case or make new findings. Another key thing to understand is that there are different levels of federal courts that might review your case. You might start with a district court, which is the first level of federal court. But if you're not satisfied with the outcome, you can appeal to a circuit court, which is a higher level. Each of these courts has its own rules and procedures, and the process can get really complex. Federal courts are looking for specific things when they review immigration petitions. They're checking for errors of law, like whether the immigration authorities followed the right procedures or if they made a decision based on incorrect information. They're also looking for due process violations, like whether you were given a fair chance to present your case. But they're not making new decisions or re-examining the facts. The district court is usually the first stop for an appeal. They're going to look at your case and decide whether the immigration authorities made a mistake. If you don't like the outcome, you can appeal to the circuit court. They're going to look at the same issues, but they might have a different perspective. There have been some key cases where federal court intervention really made a difference in the outcome. For example, there was a case where a court ruled that the immigration authorities had to consider a certain type of evidence. It was a big deal because it changed the way that authorities processed applications. Understanding how federal courts review immigration petitions is crucial if you're going through the process. It's not always straightforward, but it can make a big difference in the outcome of your case. So, if you're facing a denial and you're not sure what to do next, it might be worth talking to an attorney who can guide you through the process. If you've had an experience with federal court review of an immigration petition, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you're interested in learning more about immigration law, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.